Sweet baby Jesus in a tiny t-shirt laying in the crib. What is going on, my man?
What's up,
And
my brother?
what is on your face?
What you talking about? I don't. What?
Where do you keep these props at?
Look, man. This is.
Do you have just a box of stuff under your desk?
I've got a lot of drawers in my desk, okay, and I gotta be. I can't let you. I had to hide it. I can't let you see what's
Right.
going on. Nobody
I mean-
knows. Nobody knows.
Well, after the day I've had, I need that. I need you in. I actually need you in those glasses the entire podcast.
Hey, done.
No, I can't take it. I can
And then
see your
you'll-
screen when you look up. Yeah, it's just a big old blue square. I can see myself. It's literally a big old blue square when you look up too far.
Well, introduce us so I can tell you the story.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Off the Rails podcast with Travis and
Mitch,
the welder.
the Galvanator.
Oh, together we make up the Stile Boyz, and we do this little podcast. We have no earthly clue how many episodes we're in because something is jacked up on our side. We're really not sure. This could be 23, could be 24, or possibly 25, but we think it's 23. But this is just a place where we kind of decompress, talk about business, talk about woodworking, talk about aggravations and frustrations in our life. And boy, I hope you're holding on because frustrations and aggravations are kind of the topic of my day. But
Yeah,
what is up with you?
man. We just living, dude. We just living.
Well, I mean, I saw your Facebook post, so I know you've had a day. Or was that yesterday?
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest with you. I be posting sometimes, man, and then, forget that I post.
Your bad spray?
But, yeah. My who?
The bad spray on the cabinets?
Bad spray on the cat.
The bad paint lay?
Oh, you talking about the cabinet page. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are correct. Luckily, it was only 3 or 4 of them, so we got
Gotcha.
through it. But you got to take that opportunity, and we'll get into what happened later, so stay tuned. But you got to take that opportunity, and I like to, I've seen that before, and I was like, what in the world is this?
Right.
But over the years, I've learned what that issue was. So then I was like, why don't I just take a video and post it so somebody else may know what this issue is? We got to help each other, man.
Right. Oh, yeah. And that community is all about that. But so in the meantime, tell me why you're prepared for a solar eclipse.
All right, so shout out to Susie. She is, I don't know, one of the number one listeners. I mean, we got a few of them that listen to every single episode. You know what I mean?
I think we have about 15, for sure.
Yeah.
Regardless of how terrible we do, they're going to listen.
So way back in the beginning of all this, I told you that I wanted some sunglasses or glasses like, what was his name? Jamie wore on Mythbusters.
Okay.
And so we talked about it, and then we had Susie came to visit, and she handed me a box, and I was like, what is this? She goes, open it up and see. And I opened it up, and this is what was inside.
They're pretty close.
They're steampunk, I think, is what the term is. Steampunk.
Do you know what's running through my head right now?
There's no telling.
I wear sunglasses at night. The song.
Yeah.
That's all I can think. I'm so tempted to go try to download it and play it back live right now, but it would take too much bandwidth.
Listen.
We already got some jittery stuff going on, so I'm not going to risk popping out. I mean, we had some technical difficulties last week. We've had 23 episodes, 25 episodes, whatever we're on, episodes of technical difficulties.
20-something. Listen, it's part of it by now, man. But again, you don't know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying?
This is what happens when you have two hillbillies trying to do a podcast with no sponsorship. Give us some sponsors. We need some money.
Yeah, even privately, we'll shout your name out on here.
Yeah. I wonder if we should start a Patreon.
Yeah, well, enough people find it, you can.
Yeah.
Are you done with them? You ready for them to come off?
It's up to you. I've gotten so used to them. I'm okay.
I may randomly put them back on again.
Okay. If there's another
This
pair
is
of
me.
sunglasses,
This is what I really look
there
like.
be another pair of glasses underneath there. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a classic. I love that one.
Oh, Well, what's been going on in the shop? What's up? We're a little out of sync. Man, we can't seem to get ahead either in episodes. So when this releases, it's pretty close. I mean, it's August the 2nd when we're recording this, so we're pretty close to live. Which
Yeah.
other than the pressure of making sure we got an episode to release each week, because I really don't want to miss the weekly, just because I think people are looking for it, and I think that's, if you're trying to build something, you got to be persistent on that part of it. But I don't mind it being so close in all actuality.
Yeah, I don't either. To me, it's a little bit better to listen to for me personally.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, why in the world? Why was I doing that? And it was 6 weeks ago.
Well, in all fairness, we've been so busy in the last 3 weeks that I haven't listened to a release in a while either. Like, I'm behind myself in, like, what did it sound like? What did we talk about? Like,
well, don't worry, I got you, man. Me and Trey got you, and Susie.
Yeah, well, I know Trey. Like, I mean, as soon as the alert comes out, he's doo-doo-doo. And I know last week he was all over that one. I mean,
dude, Monday morning, like
he's on it.
As soon as I give him, he gets something to do by himself, and he don't need me yapping in his ear. Boom, they're in, and he's got it going.
He's going.
And I found us a new person to listen to. Was actually the Southeastern driver, Leroy. That is his real name. So
okay.
But it's
Leroy
super
Jones?
cool dude. Yeah, super cool dude, man. We've developed a friendship over the years, and actually, we talked. I don't want to get him in trouble. We talked a little while today about running a business. He's kind of thinking of venturing out on his own, and he doesn't know what he wants to do, but he's kind of thinking about venturing out. And I said, buddy, have I got a podcast that is useless for you?
Leroy, start a lawnmower business. Start a lawn business. I think there's good money just in a lawn business, and I don't think it takes. It's a relatively low amount of capital to get going. You can just get bigger and better machines, but you also have a tangible item. Should the business go south, you have a tangible item that you can unload and get. You can get some of your money back. You're not going to get it all back, but you can get a decent amount of money back off of it, too.
And you could sell a lawnmower a lot faster than you can a cabinet shop.
Yeah.
But, we were just kind of talking basics, I mean, nothing really in depth, and just kind of the key guidelines that we preach over and over again about how to be a person that runs a business or, works for themselves. But anyway, it was a good talk, man, and he was like, man, I'm going to listen to that podcast, so he might be listening to one right now. You don't know what he's doing.
My new landlord's listening to the podcast. I don't know if he's caught up or not, but he's listening. So
we can't talk a bunch of crap about him or anything like
that. Did I say anything about this?
No, you didn't.
I was like, have I say anything about this process? And I was like, well, there really hadn't any. Which note, story from former landlord.
Okay.
He sent me a text.
All right. Well, I got to get my apology out of the way.
Uh-oh.
On the last episode, because we were choosing between paint colors and a sawmill story.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of said, well, I'll just say this about paint colors, and it turned into a long conversation, and we didn't get to the sawmill story.
Oh, well, that's no big deal.
So, and I felt bad listening to it. I was like, dude, we totally forgot about the sawmill story.
Well, I do want to hear that. I do want to hear that story. But while we're there, what do you
mean hear it? Wasn't that your story?
No, it's your story.
I have a sawmill. I put that in the notes.
I put it in the notes when you brought it up. Your dad was going to build a sawmill, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that where that came from?
I don't remember.
I thought that's what we were talking about when I put it in there. Idea. Your dad was going to build a sawmill.
Oh,
and he had plans.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what I was thinking now. I got to go back to Old Mitch. I got to go back to Old Mitch.
Jiminy Creek. Well, one of our listeners, Jeff, reached out. Who I still owe a hat to. Sorry, Jeff. I'm working on it, man. I'm drowning in my own sweat and my own pity of Waller right now. But he asked us. He told me who he works for, but he asked me not to use it on the podcast of who he works for, what company. All right. Okay. But basically, I think there were some things during the paint conversation. So he works for a paint company. That he said, I I'm dang near pulling my teeth out listening to you guys discussing painting. Call me. I will explain, give recommendations, and talk to you about your local reps. And I said, well, were we? I said, I'd love to talk to you about it, like, because I know Jack. I mean, I'm not an expert. You know way more about the paint than I do.
And I don't know much.
I was like, are we factually wrong or are we bad in explaining? Because if I'm factually wrong about something, I definitely want to know. I mean, for sure. Now, if I'm just badly explaining it,
you gotta live with that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's, I can say one thing and you can say the same thing, but just like change 3-4 words, and the same person that we're talking to gets it and they don't get it when I say it. So that doesn't bother me as much, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As being just factually wrong, But he just said, kind of bad in explaining. Mostly the difference in paint bases and their ingredients. You guys did good though.
Okay,
I said, okay,
I'll take
cool.
that.
So, but I told him, I said, well, Jeff, as soon as we get our technology where we can share where we can get somebody on, because he's in Nebraska, I think. I'd love to have you on. Like, I'd love to have that conversation, with somebody. So, I want to work that out with him. But it was awesome. Like, that was really the first most in-depth feedback that I think we've gotten from an episode, really and truly. Like, we've gotten some, that was funny, or, love you guys, some of those, but like an actual, like, well, we had one other one that I think it might have been him as well, that picked up the Jocko Willing podcast and was like, I love this. This is an awesome podcast. Thanks for putting me on that. When you're talking about leadership and things like that. But it was just really good. It was like, oh, somebody, like, it was a legit, like, comment back. And so I really appreciate it. Even if you hate it, I mean, I think we've said this from the start. Even if you hate what we said, thanks for the feedback. I mean, at least
you can
at least you're
disagree.
listening.
Yeah, but if you help us, you're going to get a free spot on the show.
Right? But he can't talk about who he works for.
That's right. Yeah.
So he's not really trying to push his product at all. He just wants to help the education process. So
hey, I'm down. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. Well, I'll run through my week if you want me to.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I need you a little bit, because I've kind of lost my mojo this week. I really have.
Oh yeah, I've been there, dude.
I'm just I'm not depressed. Depressed is really not the right word. I don't know, not out of gas. Like, I'm not tired. I'm just not feeling it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, you know what the real problem is? Your favorite phase, feast or famine, it's famine time too, and I'm just not hungry. Like, and it's weird. Like, that's usually like, okay, let's belly up and, fork up. And right now I'm like, I'm kind of doing the push away. I'd rather not be at this buffet right now. And I don't know why.
Right.
I have no idea. So, help me decompress and help me join back to the world.
Well, here we go. We're going to start off with the bad news. I kind of want to cover that.
Yeah.
Tammy's father succumbed to his illness. He is with the Lord now, so we're not, disheartened as far as that. But when he was a mountain of a man. Quick little bio on him, Ronnie Dean. He was a Vietnam vet, in the thick of it. He served the United States military for a total of 44 years.
Oh, wow.
He was 24 years active duty Army, 20 years National Guard. And I'm not going to say they kicked him out in 2001, but they were like, hey, now's a good time, because you don't want to be involved with what we're about to have to do. He was an older guy by then and all that. Yeah. He was a staff sergeant. And one of the things I'll always admire about Ronnie is he was tough. He was tough to. He was just a tough man. He wasn't just laid back and everything's fine. I mean, he was hard. He was a hardened guy. That's just who he was. And I remember asking him to marry his daughter, his only daughter, his youngest kid, but I sat down like a man and I asked him, and he said, nope. He said, you don't have enough money in your savings account to marry my daughter. And I said, okay, fair enough.
He knew a little something you should have picked up on, or
yeah. He said, y'all don't have enough money to try to live a life together, and we didn't. We were dead broke. But I said, yep, I get that, I understand that. And he goes, but I know you're going to ask her anyway. He said, so I won't be a butt about it. And I said, fair enough.
Is that a blessing technically?
I'm taking it as a blessing.
Is that as much as you were going to get from him?
That's right. Now, him and I never got into a disagreement. We never had any cross words or anything. We always got along, good. And I told him, I said, I can't promise that your daughter's going to have, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. I said, but she'll never be cold, she'll never be hot, and she'll never be hungry. And he said, okay. He said, I'll take that. So he was just, he was down to earth. He was a real deal, man. And he got pneumonia back in 2021. He had COPD. He had emphysema, and never was able to really climb out of it. He did pretty good until the last month and a half, and he really went downhill. Required pretty much constant care, supervision, and his 3 kids, they took turns every night. A different one would stay in the house with him, But anyway, he passed Saturday morning, and that was, it's tough. Patriarch of the family. Everybody's rock. It was tough to deal with. But it is what it is, and we do thank God when things like this happen, because we did have time to prepare.
Yeah.
You're never fully prepared. I lost my father at 21, and there's nothing you can do to prepare yourself for it all the way. But we had time to kind of get some things in order. We, everybody knew, what was going to happen. So, but anyway, he was a mess, and he was something else. He loved life, loved to hunt. Man, he was a hunter. And once he got out of the military, he did not ask the U.S. government for one single penny. And he was hard of hearing. All the gunshots and the cannons and whatever it was, he's always been hard of hearing. But he was not this guy. He said, I went and I did my my civic duty or whatever, and he did it for his country. He joined, I believe, at 18 years old and went to Vietnam. So it was a good, it's a good story. He was a tough man, and he'll be missed. He will be missed. So y'all think, keep him in your prayers and his family and everything, But, yeah. So we're dealing with that. The funeral is Friday. And he will be getting a full military funeral.
As he deserves.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there was a little bit of a scuff up about that. The funeral home was like, he's probably not going to get one. And now Tammy's oldest brother, Joey, I've never seen him get upset, but he was hot. And I said, I bet you $1 here that he's going to have a full military funeral.
Why were they doubting it? Just curious.
Well, E9, I think he was an E6, and I think now they're saying you have to do this many, or you have to be active duty, or you have to be an E9 or above, and it changes all the time. But let's just call him his grandson-in-law to keep it all simple.
Gotcha.
Is in charge of the military funerals for our area.
Oh, okay.
So quick phone call to him. He was like, nope, that's caca. That ain't going to happen. I'm going to take care of it. And he did. He's getting, we can get into that whenever, but, dude, if you do, what is it, an enlistment?
Mm-hmm.
You finish an enlistment, full regalia. I'm down with it. It don't cost $150,000 to have a military funeral. He paid his dues. If you go in and you sign up and you obviously, handle yourself right while you're in, which is 99% of them, I think you should get one. That's me. That's how I feel.
I bet that's some COVID remnants. of those restrictions that were put in to kind of cut down on some of that stuff. I bet that's just
But
still
you're
in
telling me
place.
an
Terrible.
80-year-old Vietnam vet that did 44 years in the military, and you guys are sitting here saying, "Well, we don't think they're going to do it because you have to be." No, that bird didn't fly there.
I'm gonna tell you something. You do 6 months in Vietnam. I think you enjoy. I think you deserve.
That's what I'm saying.
You do it honorably.
Exactly.
You're honorably discharged. You deserve. You deserve. I mean, if that's what your request is, when you,
And
you know,
the messed up part is he never asked anything out of the military after he got out, but he said, "I want a full military funeral." He was proud of it. You know, he was proud of his service, proud of what he did for this country, and he said, "I want a full military funeral." And then when we heard the funeral home say, "We don't think so," we were like, "Nope."
but it was in the funeral home's defense. It sounds like they were just saying, not,
That's right,
not
yeah.
that didn't have any part of the denial. I think they were just
That's right.
saying from what they've seen, it's going to be difficult, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So
they were
they're-
like, because the funeral home said, "I don't think they're gonna do it."
Yeah,
You know,
I
they
just
didn't
want to
have
make
a
sure
dog
like
in
that
it.
kind of just that could have
Yeah.
sounded muddy to somebody thinking like that this funeral home is like they have
Oh,
the
yeah.
call, and they don't really have a call in it at all.
No, they're off the hook, and they've been really good. They've been really good with the whole thing. So anyway, you know, kind of dealing with that. Now to the good stuff. The house is completely framed. It's completely almost dried in. We have windows sitting out there in it. We have doors sitting out there in it. Those will be
Nice.
installed on Friday. Hey, shout out to the framers, man. I couldn't pronounce their name, but
Jose,
buddy,
and
let me
Jose
tell
B.
you, yeah, them jokers, and it was spotless when they were done. They swept
Really?
the floors. I mean, it was
That's
amazing.
unusual. That's unusual.
Yeah.
So shout out to the builder.
Yeah, we brought them. You know, I offered them some ice cold waters one day. I told them, I said, "Hey, if you guys want lunch, let me know. I'll provide lunch one day. I can go out. We can cook here." You know, I went and checked on them every day. Kind of, you know, strung up some conversations with them, and treated them like I care about you. I care about, you know, your livelihood and
Yeah.
you getting too hot out here. You know, and I don't think they get a lot of that. You know,
well, there's
people
probably
can-
not a lot of people who are building a house that are so close to, in proximity to, that can come by every day
Yeah,
as the
that
homeowner
and-
too.
you know, well, the framers are out there, you know, and the people,
Yeah.
you know, this snotty homeowner comes in looking down their nose, and hey, buddy, he's building your house.
Yeah.
He ain't sheetrocking it; he's building it. You know, so. But I got a cabinet door, and took out there to them, and I said, hey, I want everybody who wants to. You don't have to, but anybody who wants to sign this door, if you sign it, everybody who works on the house is going to sign it. We're going to clear coat it and hang it up in the house. And I said, I never want to forget the people who built this house, you know. And you could see, man, he was like, he said, I've never heard of that, you
Yeah.
know. And I said, well, that's what we want to do. We want to, you know, walk past that cabinet door and realize this is the people who made this house happen. Not me, not the bank. These people made this house. And they seemed to really appreciate that. And there was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 signatures on it. I think every one of them signed it,
That's interesting.
you know.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Where are you going to put that door?
I want to put it smack in the living room.
And Tammy
I
wants
want-
to put it in the shed.
I don't know. She probably wants to put it in the hallway or something. I told her, I said, it's going up in this house.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere where we're going to walk by it all the time. And if you have a bad day, if something ain't going right, you can look at that door, that cabinet door hanging on that wall, and realize that it, you know, you're blessed. You're a blessed person.
So you're going to like frame the cabinet door like it's a piece of art almost?
No, I'm just going to clear coat the door
Uh-huh.
and
like
hang it.
hang it? Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Yep. So, but anyway,
I
got
got a
that.
couple of cabinet doors from today if you need some extras. Oh.
So we got all that stuff done. Let's see, we got the overhead set in the big house. That took 2 days because of the tile guy.
Still there.
He
huh?
was supposed to be done. Hey, come Monday. I went Monday. He was like, no, that's wet, this wet, that wet, that wet. And I'm like, well, I can't. So we hung the 2 kitchens.
Okay.
And yeah, you heard it. 2 kitchens, for those of you who may not know, and had to go back today. And the builder goes, hey, if you get there at 8, he's never there that early. He comes in 10 o'clock. Get there early. You can go hang it and be out of the way. I said, okay. We got there at 7:55, and that sucker had already put 3 tiles down in the laundry room.
Of course he did.
that had 3 overheads in it. And I was really trying not to get frustrated, but I was like, this ain't gonna work. So I left them in there. They're right in the middle of the living room, and I said, whenever I come back and do the doors, I'll hang them. But y'all can trip over them.
And people wonder why I don't want to do new construction. I can't handle that. I cannot handle working around all those trades. It would I don't have the temperament for it. I would lose my cool.
To be fair, this is a little bit different because these people are tiling their entire house.
I get
with
that.
2 foot by 3 foot tiles, and the guy, it's just this one guy, and it's always the tile guy.
Yeah.
He sets up in the middle of a door. He cuts crap where nobody can get around him. There's water spray. I had one set up behind an island I just set, spraying water all over the back of the island. And I was like, hey, what are you doing, So the builder came out.
I don't know if you know this or not, but wood, water, not really a good combination.
The builder had a little conversation with him, and next thing I know, that sucker was on the back porch. And I don't know what was said or what. But anyway, so we got them all set, and that was the angled kitchen. I was nervous about that, and it all fit. Everything fit fine. We had to call in reinforcements for a big one because they used really big molding on the cased openings, and, of course, the cabinet wouldn't fit. We take off a 1/4 inch. If it's 120 and a 1/4 inches wall to wall, I make the cabinet 120. Right? You got to have a little bit of wiggle room. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But that only works if you use regular door casing. This, I'll have to show you a picture, man. The whole molding was 1.5 inches thick.
Jeez.
And I was like, well, this ain't going back there. So we tried to go up over the molding and back in, and that didn't work. So we had to pull the regular door casing off. So anyway, it was frustrating. It was hot. We couldn't back up to the front door. We had to cart everything up the hill and around this little windy sidewalk and go in. But,
Do you have dollies or carts or anything for outside? Are you hand carrying?
We hand tote.
Have you ever thought about making like some dollies with like big tires for like outside?
Yeah, and they would get you to the house. Now, most of the time, see, we're right at the door. We're right at the front porch. In this case, it would have saved us, 30 feet of toting. But then you can't get up on the porch. You can't get through the threshold. It just runs into a big mess. So, but anyway, we got all those done and hung. Everybody's happy. The homeowner likes them, so that's good.
Hey, that's really all that matters.
Yep. Got a couple of phone calls. Turned one job down for a huge millwork and cabinet company. This was going to be a really big house, and I told them, nah, But I did appreciate them calling and asking me if I would do it, and stuff like that. I mean, and I passed that on to a friend of mine, so we'll see what happens with that. But then I had another person call in.
I didn't get an email.
Well, I don't know if you want to come. Well, you can come to Raymer. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. This was the same company that wanted to hire me and put me in charge of their millwork division.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, mm-mm. So anyway, passed on that, but I think I'm going to take on a tiny cottage job. It's like 7 or 8 cabinets. We got that going on. We got a couple of them being built, and
Well, apparently it's in here. Oh. I'm looking for my phone so I can.
So anyway, we got a lot of stuff going on. Got a lot of jobs going out. A lot of jobs being built. We're painting drawer fronts. We're painting doors, and all that stuff. So it's a good week, good busy week. What about you?
I don't want to talk about it. I'm going. The number of things that I have wanted to turn into a frisbee this week is like unreal. So. Started on this mudroom, the one we've been working on, really, the drawings and all since you came up and all, with the Great Dane dog kennels. So that's going in tomorrow. So got it all built out, and just the software anxiety, like the anxiety that comes with building with the new set of software. Like I don't trust it.
Yep.
I don't trust the software at all at this point in time. And it's largely in part because of the way that the software works. It has a lot of manual input by the user, if that makes sense. The other software was a little bit more automated in its process. So, like, for example, like if I don't have the door, well, so I had to actually phone a friend earlier this week. I had to phone Mitch because I couldn't get a cabinet to change size in the software. I couldn't get it to go any. I could make it deeper, front to back, but I couldn't make it left to right any bigger. And long story short, without getting into like the minutia of how it works, is like I kind of built it in the software wrong and attached like these cheater blocks to the wrong parts, so the cabinet was like, well, I don't understand what you're trying to do. And so like today, so I actually had two door issues today that just made. So the first one is, I don't know what happened, went back to the cut sheet on the first one, and it's exactly what the cut sheet says. So that makes me think that I did something wrong in the software, right? Some kind of adjustment to the cabinet. So the door is the right width. I've got a 1/2 inch overlay on left and right. It is the exact size of the opening. I don't have an extra inch. I don't have a 1/2 inch top, 1/2 inch bottom, and it's a 8.5 foot door. And I was like, I'm not remaking this. There's no way. It is dead nuts flat. Like, it is one of the best doors that I have. And now it's only 15 inches wide, so it's super tall, but it's not very wide. And so that's kind of how I got away with it. And as I was building the door, I was like, I'm putting an extra rail in it. So I had it as a 2-panel door. I made it a 3-panel door, like game time decision. I was like, it's nothing for me to cut an extra rail real quick, make it, put it in. So I've got, and there's two of them. There's a cabinet on the left, cabinet on the right. And I mean, and they're like some of the best big doors I have ever made. I mean, they just milled up perfect out of the shapers, like no blowout, you know. I mean, I was just like, oh, this is so. And then I was like, and then and the same thing. I'm gonna tell you something. If you do not know what I'm talking about, if you've never built a cabinet before and never put a door on it, there is no worse sinking feeling than closing the door on a cabinet and it being wrong.
Yep.
I mean, whether it's too small, whether it's too short, whatever is wrong with it, it doesn't matter. It's wrong, and it's just like deflating.
So, if yours is the same height as the opening, what is your fix?
I shimmed in another piece in the very top.
Bingo.
So that I could drop it down just a little bit. And
bingo.
And bondoed it in and made one piece. You know,
it almost sounded like I've been there before, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it took everything I had not to launch that door across the shop like a Red Bull kite at whatever that event is. I just, I mean,
you have to go back to your program and find out where the error is.
Yeah, for sure. Because that cabinet's saved, so we got to fix that. You know, I got to fix that. I know I got to fix that, but
yeah.
And then, so get through that little hurdle, and this is the one you got a picture of. Put the cabinet door on, close it, and it's missing the center stile by, I don't know, solid inch. Like, I could put my finger between the door and the center stile. I'm like, this is not right. This is not right. What? And I mean, it was late in the day too. I'm like, I'm not gonna make recording. There's no way. That is the fastest I have ever milled up 2 doors in my life and got them in. And I made, so the shapers. So lesson learned. If you move your equipment, especially if you put it in a trailer, bounce it down the road, you should check it before you try to use it. I did not do that on the first set of doors. So I had a little bit, I mean, it was just a slight, I mean, like a 32nd of an inch of offset. When I put my rails and my stiles together, I just had a little bit more than I like to sand out. And I was like, oh, this is frustrating. But old Festool come through for me. She feathered on down. But when I did this set, I was like, well, let's fix this. Let's dial this down real quick. And I mean, dead nuts back to, that's the wonderful thing about a shaper versus a router. It is so much easier to dial it in accurate. It really is.
Yeah, and you have to look at these big companies that make doors.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they're using shapers.
Wonder why.
There's something to it, you know. And we talked about that. Your accuracy would go up,
Yeah.
you know, using a machine that's designed to do that.
Well,
you know?
if you're wondering why, so a router is mounted upside down in a table. I've got to unclamp it to loosen it to be able to move it. Then I've got to use a dial or a crank to lift it up or down, whatever I need to do. And then I've got to close it again to kind of get it where I want. And what usually happens is there's a little bit of slop in that closing and opening process that it moves it just a little bit. And in a door, a 30-second, it matters. Like it does. Like it's just now. Yes, you can feather it out. You can feather it out, and it's not a big giant deal, you know. But it's more time you're spending on the door. It's more time that you're working on this door, and you're like, I could be doing something else. Whereas with the shaper, it's a direct screw. So like I can turn the wheel on the front of the shaper, and I can directly move that drive up and down. And when I move, that's it. It's locked. It's done. There's nothing else I got to do to get it to dial in again. So and it's just a difference. But got those two doors milled up, and they're in clamps right now. I'm going to have an early morning tomorrow morning because we're meeting at 7 for the install. It's an hour from the shop to get to the install, and I've got to sand, route, and hinge pocket this door. Now, if I had my new hinge machine, that'd be a lot faster, but we ain't there yet. I got a little delay because I've decided this last week and a half to apparently spend an entire fortune on my mouth. Which on top of it being a crappy day, I went to the dentist today. I got like 19 injections across the top of my mouth today. During the process of being numb, I took a chunk out of my cheek. It hurts like all get out, and then every place that they shot me with the numbing stuff hurts.
Why are they numbing you up like that?
I'll just leave it at this. Dental work is important, but I had like a really, really, really bad experience in the military. And when I got out, I was like, you know what? I'm a grown man, and if my teeth don't hurt, I'm not going to the dentist. Apparently, that is the wrong move to make. Just to let you know. Because everything that I could have been doing the last 20 years, we've done in the last week and a half, and it hurts. It's not fun. And I found out today I got to go get 2 wisdom teeth cut out.
That is fun, though.
I have all 4 wisdom teeth, but 2 of them need to go. Yeah,
because they're going to put you on some stuff. And, man, when you come out, Kim, if I don't get a video, I'm going to be ill.
Well, they said you can do nitrous oxide or you can go under. And she's like, the under costs more. I said, I don't care what it costs. I'm going under.
Go under, dude.
I'm going under.
Absolutely.
Because I already don't like the dent. I don't want to be there. And now, I will say, I don't know if it's just technology or whatever, but or not being Navy doctors, dentist, but the experience is way better. I will say that. I don't know if just technology has changed that much more, but like they've put me on this new toothbrush. Like I got to brush my teeth on this app. Like, and it's crazy. Like AI technology though. Like when I'm brushing my teeth, I can look on the phone and it tells me where in my mouth the toothbrush is.
Golly.
And then like tells you like, all right, you got move along, go to another section. That section's done. Move to another section. Like,
right, here crazy. I am over here with a corn cob trying to do it.
Well, I don't want to go through whatever they suggest to me that I do moving forward to not have to do this again. I'm like, just here's my card. Keep it on file. Let's just move on. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so being injected and all has just been but yeah, I was just coming out of like the numb phase. Like my lip, it felt like it was like this big out here when that whole door thing went down too, and I was like, oh my god. But like
and you were like, wish I could throw this thing.
Kim wanted a video. Like I stopped by, so you know how it is, you go to the dentist, like, and I'm sure they expect it, but you know, you don't want to. So I brushed my teeth this morning. When I leave, I usually eat my Uncrustable on the way to the shop, and then I had to go to work for a little bit and then go to the dentist. Well, I didn't really have a way to, because I don't have plumbing, so I don't really have a way to brush my teeth again. So I didn't eat. you know. And then we get done with the thing. By the time 1 o'clock roll around, I'm starving.
Yeah.
Well, Burger King's right there, so I hit the Burger King. Well, I can't feel top teeth, lips, nothing in the upper half. So, like, literally, I'd put the straw in my mouth. I'd be like, I'm not sure. Like, I had to like close my top lip around the straw to be able to suck in, and you were just like sucking and hoping that you got something to drink because I could not feel the straw whatsoever. Well, I could feel it in the bottom half, but I couldn't feel if it was sealed. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
So it would like surprise you. You're like, oh, I got it that time. You know, like, or you'd suck. You're like, air, just air. You didn't have you didn't have a seal. And then I tried to put a burger in my mouth, and I was like, oh, the bun. I was like, the bun keeps curling up for some reason. Like I thought that I couldn't get my mouth open far enough, you know, and I thought the bun was hitting my lip and like curling up. No, it was my lip. It was my own lip, but I thought it was the hamburger bun.
Yeah, you done had a day today, buddy.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. So, but the good news is we're loaded. Trailer's loaded, minus 2 doors. I'll get those fixed in the morning. Not too bad. Get to see my boy. I hadn't seen Derek in I don't know, a week and a half or so, maybe 2 weeks. So we haven't been able to hang out. So I'm excited about that. Going to hang a bunch of shiplap. You know, everybody loves hanging shiplap on the wall.
Oh.
We're pretty fast at it though, the two of us. Between when we get rocking, with the two of us, we kind of have a pretty good system. We can rock out a room pretty quick. And then I did have to do a little audible though with these dog kennels. So I can't remember exactly how big they are. They're like 41 inches tall and like 52 inches deep, something like that. They're for Great Danes. Well, I have concerns about getting them in the front door. Like, I'm not 100% sure I can get them in the house. So I left the face frames off of them so that if I have to take out stretchers, I can take stretchers out and then kind of roll it in through the door. But if I glue a face frame on, I'm SOL.
Man, y'all post finishers, man.
Right? But I mean, how would you bring a finished cabinet in through that? I mean,
y'all got it so easy, dude. Well, just snatch the face frame off.
No, we don't have it easy. You know why? Because you wait on 3 days for a finisher to give you an answer. That's why. That's what we suffer with.
Well,
hey, Carlo, I still need a price on that job so that I can give it to the customer. Thank you. I've got an old customer from the remodel days that wants a board and batten walls done. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, well, how much do you think it'll cost? And I was like, I honestly have no idea what it would cost to have this, sprayed. Because I was like, it's a wall. So the whole thing in getting a wall done is you want it to look like actual board and batten. I was like, you can't roll it. It will not look that way if you roll it. It will not. Yep. You need to spray it. And he's like, well, how much is it going to cost? I was like, I honestly don't know.
Dude, go spray it.
I'm not doing it.
Just go spray it.
No.
I don't blame you.
You want to talk about my mojo dropping? Let me maybe have to paint. But yeah, but the software is,
we got to find out what happened, why your doors.
Yeah.
And I can tell you if it and here's the thing, you may want to hear, you may not want to hear it, but if it spit those parts out on that cut list wrong, then it was the wrong size in the program.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. I don't doubt that part. What I'm doubting is where did I go wrong? Or that's right. That's the frustrating part. Where did I go wrong? Am I going wrong in the scaling? Am I going wrong in the? I do know for sure that in the door panels, I've got them set to 1/4 of an inch out of old habits, and I need them all set to 1/2 inch insets.
Yeah.
Because the shaper bits are 1/2 inch, not 1/4 inch. That come back to bite me on one.
And by the way, speaking of shaper bits, I went to my buddy's shop that he's setting up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got Oliver, Festool, Laguna stuff all in there, man. He's like, dude, I got to make some cabinets. I'm hemorrhaging. I am bleeding out.
Little bougie tail.
But he had a cutter head, a shaker door cutter head that he showed me was $800 for the head. Yeah.
It's a shaker door head, and it was $800.
Yep.
I hope it lasts a lifetime.
Well, it's got the carbide inserts.
Okay, so you
And
just
it was
changed out the carb
what
rods.
was that, Freeborn? I think it was by Freeborn Tool.
Well, that explains why.
Yeah, so I weighed like 30 pounds. I was like, dude, man, you talk about the heebies, man.
I mean, but in comparison, a Grizzly shaker set was like $175.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, now I'm a buy once, cry once. I try to be, but I can buy 8 times, you know,
You're right.
or,
Yeah.
you know, that just seems a little excessive to me.
Yeah, I don't
For a
know. It's
shaker
just-
door, like if it was doing some kind of crazy profile, okay, I get that, but it's probably not even an angled shaker, is it?
No, it's not
Square?
angled.
Yeah.
It's not angled. But I don't know. It's something weird. Something
Yeah.
weird about there. But you're going to have to get out of here.
Intruder
Lord.
alert! Intruder
Oh,
alert!
Lord.
Oh God!
Guest appearance.
Oh God!
Pan down where they can see your hairy triceps.
Pan down! Pan down! We ain't got the equipment to do
What
that.
are you,
Pan
what are you
down.
doing?
Well, I just got through buds, and so I was gonna stop by and enjoy some air conditioning.
Well, have a seat. You got to be quiet if you're in here.
I got
the
gas
neighborhood-
real bad.
That's fine. The neighborhood contractor just showed up. Yeah, the local contractor. I don't think he's got a permit, OSHA. I'm just saying.
It looks like he fell in a paint bucket.
He always looks like that.
Oh.
He's married, ladies. Back off. So anyway, I don't know what's about to happen. So just
Oh,
hey, take it with a grain of salt. I didn't lock my door.
Life and great. I didn't even hear it ding dong.
I didn't either. Well, he probably
Did he?
he probably went under the sensor.
I was gonna say he didn't look like a very tall fella. Did he just go? Did he
Yeah.
just slide underneath it?
I think that's what it was.
I need to wake this thing up. Come on.
Ding dong. What?
Fall asleep over here.
What's asleep? I'm just. I mean,
What kind of screws do you use?
Here we go. I'm telling you, man, he's gonna wreck the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, that shaper head. I don't know. It may be worth it. It may not. I'm not really sure. You know why you spend that much money on one. But hey, maybe it does good. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll
Well,
see.
what do you have coming? So, where do we want to go? I'm just trying. I'm a little thrown off. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little off the rails.
He's
bye.
sitting in here with me.
Well, I hope he makes
Good, yeah.
goofy faces at you the way and you have to suffer through it the way you make me suffer through you showing up at the beginning of a podcast.
Yeah. We got we had a job. We got a job, but the lady is not giving me a stain color. I think she's just not thinking about it, but I'm not saying anything either because I got plenty of other fish to fry right now. And then we got a couple of more jobs coming up, and then nothing crazy on those. But you remember back we talked about this super deluxe kitchen with the curved island ends and raised panel doors with applied molding and all that.
That was the
picture
what
I
was the wood?
sent you.
What was the wood though? We were
Knotty
using in
alder.
there? The knotty alder, yeah.
Yeah, they're sheetrocking that house.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be coming up pretty soon. That's going to be one for I don't post a whole lot of them on Facebook, but that'll be one for Facebook.
Why do you not post so much? I'm just curious. Why do you not keep your? Is it? I'm going to ask you a question afterwards, but I'm going to let you answer that.
So let's say you cut grass
Mhm.
for 50 houses, and you don't want to cut grass for 51, and you
That's-
just keep your mouth shut.
That's okay. So I mean, that's literally what I was thinking is because, and we might have talked about this one episode, but like Derek was saying, like that he kind of had this mentor saying, because he was wanting to get out of.
I know it. Can you keep it down?
He's wanting to get out of like doing like cornhole
Excuse
boards,
me, I have earphones on. What?
Yeah,
and stuff. And and this guy was like, well, then quit posting cornhole boards.
right.
He's
exactly.
like, well, if that's not what you want to do, then quit posting.
Picking up that sound?
Post what you want. Post what you want to do. Yes, there, Jimmy John, we can hear you. So
But that's
that was
why,
kind
I
of my
mean-
thing so let me ask you this, because this is kind of my concept, right? So I post, but and you're kind of like me in a way. Like 98% of your business is directly fed through your builders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a great business model, and mine's the same way. Like mine just pretty much comes through Derek, and I do very little advertising and take very little on outside of him. But what if those two builders fall away, or like, and that's what I say. Like, what if Derek falls away for whatever reason? Are you worried about not having a large portfolio to fall back on? Should you need to start pushing it? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not, and here's why. In this market, in my market, right, and this is going to sound conceited, and I don't mean it to sound that way, but I turn down as much work as I take on, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's builders that have expressed interest in using me as their cabinet guy, and I had to say, I just can't. I just can't. So, there right now, as it stands, there are a couple of builders I can fall back on and say, hey, this one went belly up, whatever, But I mean, part of it is I just don't think about it. I'm not huge on social media. I don't post a lot on there because I just don't think about it.
Yeah.
And like these 2 jobs that I got offered this week were from people I have no idea who they are. They heard about me through somebody else, and you know. So we'll see. I mean, you got to think if we do 30 houses a year, that's 150 houses I've done, and I get calls a lot. Hey, such and such gave me your name. We're building a house.
Yeah. And I get that, and I think it's just it might just be because our scales are different. That.
Yeah. Well, this man that's sitting in here, all right, Chad. Chad is the one that named Butter Smooth, by the way. So. This guy here, I'm telling you something about Chad, not just because he's sitting here, but you talk about a contractor that gives a crap about what they do, it's him. And the byproduct of that is, well, they want me to put a roof on, but I can't. I got to go down here and I got to do this. I got to build a deck for this. I got to do an addition here and I got to do an addition there. And, I got to fix this guy's attic and I got to fix this guy's roof and do, he's just so busy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another one. He gets on Facebook and kind of posts what he's doing, every now and then, but he's not like advertising on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because, I mean, if I'm not in a position to take on the potential work that I would get by posting, I would be posting all this work and then getting all these phone calls, let's say, and then me having to say, no, I can't do it.
Gotcha.
And they're like, well, dang, why are you all on Facebook, putting all this stuff on there, So I don't know, but I'm proud of what I do. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I post pictures, kind of bragging on myself or whatever, and that's fine because everybody does it. Right. Yeah, I'm talking to you that's got the makeup on that you never wear, and you found good lighting, and you make that your profile picture. So don't give me any crap.
It's just a filter.
Yeah. So anyway, people like Chad, that come in and they do really good work. They stand behind what they do.
Podcast.
Mess up people's podcasts and all that stuff, But again, he's not out there advertising, Wow. Now, if I was just getting started and I didn't have, if I had one builder, then I would be on there all the time,
Did
all
I meet
the time.
Chad? Is Chad the one that we cut that tree down? That had the tree that needed to be cut down that day?
Yeah.
That's on the tree. He was the one on the tractor trying to pull that thing down?
Yep, I believe so.
Okay.
And then the old man came out there and showed us how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it showed y'all. I just stood there and watched and ate popcorn. I ain't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. That house is already sold twice, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yep. Must be nice.
Not really, but anyway. So yeah, that's kind of why I don't do it. I mean, I'm like, whatever.
It's weird. I still get just in the neighborhood, the number of calls I get. Hey, I got one the other day. Hey, we just bought a house in the neighborhood, and I got your number, and we want to redo the bathroom. I'm like, no, wrong tree, buddy.
And it's just
here you go. I got a number for you, but
that's right, and that's what I did when that big company called me. A few days ago, that guy I was telling you that was setting up his shop.
Yeah,
here I am, and dude, this would be a company to get into. They don't build a house less than $5 million. I'm talking huge. Like he's doing right now, they're delivering windows to Tom Glavin's second house that he's building.
Yeah.
Atlanta Braves pitcher, for those of you that don't know. So, that's the kind of work that they do. And so they're doing a house here, and they're like, hey, it's not really what we do. We're not trying to throw shade on you, but with throwing a little shade on you,
Yeah.
they can probably afford you. They can't afford 80 people being involved with their cabinets,
Yeah.
you know. And so I hope they find. So I called my buddy and I said, hey, here's this really well-known company, really awesome company to do work for. This may be a good opportunity for you to get your foot in the door. And then every time they have one like this, you can, do it for them. So,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. I'm not going to sit on that information because the customer still needs cabinets, whether I do them or not. But here's what I tell them. I've never seen this guy's work. I don't know what kind of work he does. I don't know. Y'all be the judge of that, but
To
somebody
infinity
else is
and
here.
beyond. I mean, just
this is just going
just
down.
the neighborhood. Just say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Come on in.
Y'all come on in, have a seat.
Ain't nothing to do
Tammy.
with Grady, but go hang out with Mitch.
Yeah, I'm the hub, man.
Yeah, I mean, gee,
I told you, man, I'm like a mogul. I told you I was a mogul. I got people. Chad's just in here to get the free AC and Wi-Fi.
So, and you can completely decline this question for another day. But if you decline it, I'm still going to bring it up another day.
I like how you dress
But since
up
we're
for
right
the
here,
podcast.
is there another room?
Mhm.
Just, I mean,
My ride's here.
All right, we'll see you later. Y'all, hey, have her back by 10.
and buy her dinner.
Yeah, buy her
don't
dinner.
bring-
Lord have mercy. Yeah, they're gone.
Have you have you thought? So, what are your options for scaling, and have you put much thought into that? Or I guess put it the other way around. Have you put much thought into scaling? And if yes or no, if yes, what do you think they are?
As far as scaling the company up,
Yeah.
yeah, I have.
And if you don't want to talk about it right now, you can decline it. I mean, because in all fairness, we haven't. Like, I didn't give you heads
Oh
up.
no, it's. Trust me, I think about it every day. I think about it every day. So if you get somebody in, you have to look at let's say $40,000-$50,000, increase in your outgoing in your overhead a
Right.
year. You have to make that up, not only in their wages, but ideally you would make more money, right, with hiring somebody else.
Right.
Walmart don't hire people and keep the same profit margin. So that's the biggest contender, is me being responsible for somebody eating and gas money and paying their bills.
Right.
On the other half, I'm stretched out right now. There's always 3 or 4 jobs either getting measured, drawn, estimated, or built. All right, and let's say, well, if you hire somebody else, you can do 20 more jobs a year. Who's going to draw them? Who's going to measure them? Who's going to design them? Who's going to talk to the clients? I would almost need, like, right now, I could really use somebody to draw and order materials and keep all that kind of stuff going. I'd like to be in the shop. I'm a floor guy.
Right.
So scaling up, we could. I mean, technically we could. If we could bring somebody in that kind of knew what they were doing and was able to hit the ground running, we could scale up. But you're only hiring one person, and they can only do so much. And I found out that hiring one person can help you a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff one guy can't do. He can't move cabinets. He can't load cabinets. He can't install cabinets. He can,
Right.
so it's almost like you would need to scale up at such a jump, right? Where these guys can handle this whole section of the business. They can do all the installing and all the painting. These
Yeah.
2 guys, and in my opinion, that's kind of how you have to make it work. Like we tried a painter and we were like, we had to call it, fiscally, it's not making sense right now,
But was it so much the person, or the extra burden, or a combination?
a combination.
Like, just one part of it wasn't the right guy. Like, sounds like, after.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't want to dive too deep into that.
Right.
But
I'm going to leave it at that.
but,
Just
yeah,
sound like it
I
wasn't
mean-
wasn't the right guy for your fit.
exactly.
Part of it.
And this is nothing against him, right? But when I hire you, man, dude, you got to roll.
Yeah.
We got to go. We got to go. So I think, like, if you're a 2-man operation and you hire a third guy, it gets really awkward right? What are you going to do today? Well, me and Trey are doing this. Right, what are you going to do? I don't know. I guess I can sweep, until
Right.
y'all get all this done. Well, dude, you're bleeding money,
But what about, and I get that side of it, but what about just pure physical abilities to bring another person in? The size of the shop.
I think
Is
we'd
that
be
a
okay with that.
possibility? I mean, are you? I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
asking. Like,
Yeah, we could take on 2 more people and be okay, because with 2 people that knew what they were doing, we can spread out enough.
okay,
Right? These 2 are over here handling this. Trey and I are over here handling this. We're not tripping over each other. There's plenty to do. But in my experience, going from 1 person to 2 person was critical.
mm-hmm.
I would not be here. I would have lost a builder by now, because they got tired of waiting on me.
Yeah,
The whole business probably would have went belly up. I'll be honest with you. But hiring somebody, that was probably the best decision I've made. Both for morale around the shop, being able to get things done. The little tiny things that eat up all your time is really good for somebody else to go do while you're doing something else.
Did bringing on a second person, and this is completely unscripted, so I mean, again, at any point,
Bring it on.
Just
Bring it on.
Just call this off. But I'm generally curious now. But did bringing on another person, did that relieve some of the family burden where you were having to phone the family in? Like, how much did
Yep.
that change that dynamic?
99%.
Because I know Tommy's still there with you a lot. I mean,
Yep,
he's
he
still
does. Well, he only does frames now.
okay.
So he comes in for a couple of days, builds the frames, and that's it. And he goes on installs. But as
Okay.
far as working inside the shop, man, they used to be in here all the time.
Yeah.
Labeling, catching, moving this, stacking doors, whatever.
All of
You
them.
know,
I mean,
all of them.
Not just
All of them.
not just Tommy.
Yep. And it's not fair on a kid to have to work almost like it's a full-time job.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Yeah, they can come in and work 20 hours a week, 15 hours a week. I'm fine with that. But it was to the point where I needed them every single day. I'm
You
like,
can't do this because we're working.
That's right. Yeah.
There's
Yep.
no camp. There's no church camp this summer because you got to be in the shop with me. I can't work without you.
Yep. And you talk about turning a kid off of wanting to do something for themselves or working in the trades.
Yeah.
Work the crap out of them and make them do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're going to fade away, man. They're going to be some kind of computer guy or play video games or something. So, yeah, that I'm telling you, man, we would be, I bet you I could do a little bit under half of my yearly gross sales with me. So let's keep the numbers simple, right? We did 500,000 in sales last year, total sales.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do 250 by myself.
Yeah.
I would be at 120. So
it's not a 50%. Like it's not an evenly divisible number that second person gives to you.
right. You hire somebody and you're not gonna double what you do. You can do 2.5 more times with
Yeah.
somebody else. And it's all time management. And like I said, you have to mind what they're doing and what you ask them to do, and kind of the flow is so much better with somebody
Yeah.
else. But yeah, it was getting kind of rough on the kids, and they never complained. If you ask me, dude, I got some of the best kids in the world, but they wouldn't complain about it.
You got one of them's a little rough.
But they were like, "Dad needs us. Let's go."
Yeah.
I mean, no complaining, dude. None. No
Yeah.
complaining. But there was a lot of eating out. There was a lot of, hey, here's $100 bill. There was a lot of, hey, let's go do something fun this weekend, you guys. Put in some hours.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, absolutely, man. But scaling up is one of those things where it's, we're kind of in a comfort zone. And I thought I was in the comfort zone with the painter.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we got 3 people now. We're good. I like where we're at. And I did. Unfortunately.
You really need a painter who is good with a side gig. Like you really need a finisher that is good with coming in every 2 weeks or so, maybe 3 weeks, for 3 to 4 days consecutive, and then just as a side gig. How much
Yep.
would that help you? Like if
Yeah,
you
a
found,
lot.
I mean, if you found that right person that was like they had, I don't know, maybe a roaming finisher for a couple of cabinet companies, and you're like, all right, I'm ready for you.
Yeah, yeah, and the logistics of that get kind of weird, but that would be really nice to
Yeah.
have. But yeah, it's and time frames change, and well, I need you Wednesday. Okay, well, I'll plan this other job for Friday, and then I need you Friday. Well, I can't. I'm going to paint for this other guy on Friday, and now I'm back there painting, and I told him I'd be
Yeah.
here Friday. It just so I think for my shop,
He
it
might
would
not
be
be a roaming finisher for several people, but you need a guy that like just
maybe with a side gig that he's in charge of,
right, yeah,
Like
like a lawn guy or I mean, somebody
Yeah.
who kind of owns their own business but that
Yeah.
has the ability to free roam.
And just full disclosure here, I kind of shot myself in the foot. Man, he just had a baby, and we're talking about the glass man for you old timers. But he just had a baby, and I felt really bad, man, because he did a good job. While he was here, he did a really good job. We didn't part ways on bad terms or anything like that. As a matter of fact, he stopped when I was working on the DR the other day and hung out for a little while. So, to me, that's more important
Right.
than trying to cause a scene about if somebody comes in and steals a hammer or something. You cause a big scene. Hey, work it out. But anyway, I was giving him too much time. I was letting him come in and clean for 2 or 3 days. I was letting him go on installs, and we just didn't have that in the budget.
Yeah.
And it got to where, okay, now if I do what I told him I was going to do, which is just only paint, he can't survive.
Yeah.
He
Not
can't
as a
pay
main
his.
gig.
That's right. He can't pay his bills. We're talking, 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
So, and I couldn't do that. And I was like, look here, man, here's the deal. For us to pay you what you actually deserve and what you actually need to live on, we're going to go under. It's just not, we just can't do it, So he left and got another job. Like I said, it wasn't nothing ugly or anything like that, but he left and got another job. And,
Well, I mean,
he's
we
doing
always
great.
hope somebody lands on their feet,
Mm-hmm.
Did
we
the-
didn't kick him out. We kind
Did
of,
the honey displays ever get finished?
nope.
Nope. Oh. Is
Nope.
that a bad topic?
No, they're just, the belt broke on the laser.
Oh,
And I've got to remember to order a belt. So
gotcha.
thanks a lot for that reminder.
Yeah, we'll jot that
But
down.
yeah, it's tough though, man. I mean, it's
Because I think about, and the reason I'm asking you is because I think about it, and I honestly, in all the business experience that I have, with like, and I think of the gun range is probably my most applicable life experience that I have, because I for the most part ran that like it was my own business.
yeah,
I mean, I had the owner's ear, and they had they obviously had the final say so, but I ran a lot of that as if it was my own money on the line. And I tried to run it that way, and I think that was why it was as profitable as it was, as fast as it was, is that I didn't run it like it was somebody else's money.
Yeah.
Because my actual goal was to be able to stay there and to get a share of the business. That was what I was really hoping that they would ultimately do. Would be like, hey, we can't pay you enough, but we want to make you a 5% owner of the business. In lieu of cash, and then at the end of the year, you would get 5% of the profits, which would be even more incentive for me to make it more profitable.
Yep.
So I always tried to run it that way, but even then, like I had an established budget, and I knew what we made, and would have to like kind of justify, all right, we're going to bring on another person. We can't bring on another person, well, I can't, I lost an assistant manager. Well, the assistant manager was making, $50,000 a year. Do I want to bring on another person do I want to bring on another assistant manager, or do I want to bring on just another person? I'll spread those assistant manager duties across myself and like a lead, and we'll we'll take the remainder of the 50,000, we'll spread it across everybody, and retain. Right. And that's ultimately what I did in that situation. Was I took on some more duties. I took a lead guy that I thought I saw a lot of potential in, bumped his pay up more, and then took what was left and spread it across all the remaining guys because I had a really good crew that I didn't want to lose. Yep. I was like, I think I can achieve more by holding on to these guys that I have now than I can by bringing on somebody else. But I don't know that was right or wrong. I mean, I honestly don't know. And
I think that was a good way to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, and it worked. I mean, I guess it worked enough because they still actually run in that same exact format to this day. They've actually made one other like lead person. Like they've got a retail lead and they've got a range lead. They kind of run it. I don't really understand that part because it's so small. But they run it as like a range manager and a retail manager, and then there's a general manager of the store.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was the general manager, and then I had one just kind of lead who kind of went back and forth. That just was like my number two when I wasn't there. But I think about the scale all the time. Like, what is it going to take? Because my buddy tells me all the time, he's like, when are you going to hire somebody? I say, I can't afford somebody. He's like, you can afford somebody. You can. He's like, the jobs that are backlogged, you can remove the backlog. Well, if I remove the backlog, then I just get to ground zero faster, is my concern. You know, if I just, he's like, no, you just start charging more, and you start making more per job, and you don't have as many jobs built, but you got more money per job. I'm like, well, yeah, that's basic business math. I get you. I get you. I don't think he's wrong at all. I'm just terrified to death of it. I mean, and I'm not in this building. I can't bring on a second person. I mean, so we'll just put that out in the forefront. I know that I am not in a building that I can bring on a second person. From what I mean, I gotta have a bathroom. I gotta have a bathroom before I bring on another employee, or an employee.
Porta potty ain't that expensive, man. Park it around back.
That's true. Maybe. Right now I'm in the fight of my life to get my dumpster emptied.
Oh, really?
Apparently there's a big mix-up in like the other dumpster and this dumpster, and like on the app it shows my dumpster got serviced yesterday, but it sure as heck didn't. I mean, it's been full for 2 weeks. Like, but it's just like, when is the time? Like when, you know, I mean, and maybe somebody who's listening has got some better experience in this. I'd love to hear, like, you know, from bringing a small online.
I can tell you what I did. It took about 3 or 4 of these. I don't know if I can get to that one. Ooh, I can't do that one. Well, maybe Friday. Well, now it's going to be next Friday, right? And these builders were like, all right, you know, and I could tell there was a little bit of, you know, bad creeping in.
Yeah.
And they got it, but they have a job to do.
Right.
And I was like, I'm shaking hands with danger here. You know, I gotta kind of get a ring on this. So we brought somebody on, and then I adapted. I brought somebody on, and they're like, "What are you gonna do? You know, what do you want me to do?" And I was like, "I don't know, dude. I've never done this before.
Yeah,
you know, grab this, set this over there. This is how we do this." But it kept my relationship with the builders. You know, now the hard part is, you said something a while ago, and it's probably different. You know, okay, let's say you got a lawnmowing business. You charge $25 a yard, all right? You hire somebody else, he's cutting his own grass. You know, he's cutting half the grass, you're cutting half the people's grass, whatever. Y'all, in like your neighborhood, right? Y'all split up. Mm-hmm. Do you go to $40 a yard?
Well, no.
Or do you do more work?
If we're splitting the yards, then now I go from the 50 yards I was doing. I'm now doing 25. Now my goal is to get back to 50 again for myself and get him to 50. That would be my goal. You know. So, but if there wasn't that market there, so if there's not I think that's what determines if you change your price. If there's no body to gather, then I think you start going up on your price incrementally, and you start kind of seeing it's a gamble. I mean, you got to see where the fallout is.
Yeah.
You know,
and hopefully by then you would know that there's 50 people out there that'll do it for $25.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you say, well, I hired a guy, so I got to go up to 30. And the homeowner's going to be like, got crap to do with me, buddy.
Right.
Why am I paying more so you can pay your guy? You know, we had a thing worked out. I was getting my grass cut for 25. Now I'm getting the same grass cut for 30. All right.
But I think, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think the model works in a repeat business. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Where it's a reoccurring service. You know, I think that really alters the process. I think whereas more is like if I was just doing handyman services and my base rate was $40 an hour, you know, and I've got more business, I got more phone calls than I can handle, and I'm having to say no, and I say, all right, well, I'm going to move to $55 or $60 an hour, and then I'm how does that math? I mean, you see what I'm saying, but I can't figure out how to.
Yeah, so you go up $20 an hour, but you hire a guy and you pay him 18. You know,
right. Then I'm able to swallow more. more with,
and you can do more work.
Yeah,
you know,
and I don't know if you split. I don't know if you split it. I think I would say that you're tag team and everything. You know, so whereas I'm at a house for an hour, now I'm at a house for 30 minutes together, and boom, we're done. Boom, we're done. Yeah. Boom, we're done.
So,
like things that took you forever to do as a one-man band,
now
you
can
do so much faster as a two-man.
Yep.
You know,
which makes then that scenario
and that applies to the cabinet shop.
Right. So my price per foot is my price per foot, right? And these builders say, "I'll build you this house for $350,000." He counts the footage up and says, "This is roughly how much the cabinets are going to cost." You know, so he puts that in the allowance. And let's say I hire Trey, and I go up $40 a foot on cabinets, right, to make up Trey's, you know, cost of him working here.
Right.
And the builder goes, "What happened? I thought we were at this number. Why are we at this number?" And I go, "Well, I hired somebody, so I have to go up." And he's going to be like, "No, I don't think so." If Walmart is selling dog food for $15 a bag, and they hire somebody, you know, I just don't think Walmart is going to go up to $18 a bag on dog food just simply because they hired somebody. Now it's different for different people. You know what I'm saying?
But if they have one cashier, right, and they hire a second cashier, they're now able to process more people faster.
Yep. So they don't have to raise their prices.
So they don't necessarily have to raise their prices.
And at the end of the year, they have sold more product.
They have, but I still think that what happens is, in a scenario like that, and I may be completely wrong. Somebody who knows way more about business and economics may completely call us out, and I welcome them too. But I would think that what is happening in this back in the scenes is that dog food actually probably changed by a couple of cents.
Yeah, probably so.
It's such a small incremental number. I think there has to be a change somewhere. But I think, like in your scenario, when you're talking to the builder, like I think if that was me, right now as a builder, I say, you know, working with a builder, I would have to say, look, Sam, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about bringing somebody on, and I think that's going to change me from $100 linear foot to $120 a linear foot. But what that's going to do is that's going to speed my timelines up to make sure that I am ready. I am more ready for you when you're ready, and it's going to make it where I'm better able to service you and increase my production quality by having a second hand in the shop. Are you good with that, Sam? Like I think I would work that. I was trying to make it one episode without doing that. I think I would try to work that out in this small setting ahead of time before bringing somebody on. Versus, I don't think you can just hire on and say, "Hey, Sam, look, I got somebody in the shop. We're now $120 a linear foot. Thank you."
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a bad idea.
Yeah. So when COVID happened, right, I ate a little bit of gravel when everything shot up. I did 2 or 3 jobs and lost my butt on it because I'd already quoted them, right? And I mean, it was going up fast. It's not like I quoted you a year ago.
All that stuff changed.
Right? So
weekly.
Brandon's like, yep. So, they were like, man, dude, I quoted this house. I quoted this house 6 months ago. It was $300,000. Now the lumber package is doubled. I don't know what we're going to do, And I build cabinets for them if they build a house. If they don't build a house, I don't build cabinets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, dang, well, I can't just go up, right? So we ate it. We ate it on 4 or 5 jobs. I mean, we were barely scraping by. And I said,
see,
okay.
They didn't eat it on the lumber package, though. Like, the builder didn't eat it on the lumber package.
No, but the builder had a job. The builder had a house to build, right?
I get
so
you.
all this is hinging on yes or no. I'm going to build a house, okay? So if the customer goes, yeah, the builder says I'm going to charge you 15%, right? And the customer goes, okay, I still want to build the house, then that's fine. But if the customer goes, that's out of our budget, then the builder packs his tools up and goes home and calls me and says, hey, Mitch, that house you quoted? Never mind. You're off the next 2 weeks.
I get what you're saying, but I'm countering that with so your builders are cost plus essentially.
Well,
they're like 15-20% cost plus 15-20%.
Basically, yeah.
I mean that's what a lot of builders around here are. I mean they basically they give you an invoice at the end of the week, says, hey, this is what we spent and this is your total. But so let's just say they're running cost plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come to you and I say, I want to build a house for $300,000. And I say, okay, well that's fine, but your, I don't know what the math on that is. Let's do the math on it real quick.
All right.
What did I say?
Patiently waiting. Yeah.
Minus, let's say 15%.
All right.
All right. So that means that you have $255,000 to work with as your base to keep you in budget. So if you eat it, let's just say your part of it's $20,000. All right, but you're at $19,000 in cost, so you're making $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to word it. I'm trying to process this because this is completely off the cuff. I get what you're saying, but the other trades are not doing that as well. So at some point in time, the customer has to scale back. Either do the project together because everybody's got to make money.
Yeah, but everybody for about 4 or 5 houses, everybody ate it.
Yeah. And it's such a weird time. That is such a weird and not normal business time. But
yeah, and here's what I'll say to that. These 2 builders I work for say I can build this house for $300,000. Right? You sign that piece of paper, unless you come up with something crazy, that house is going to cost you $300,000.
Yeah.
That's a contract. If the builder, it's up to him how he handles the lumber package going up.
Right.
But I couldn't say, I know 3 weeks ago I told you these cabinets were $20,000, now they're $28,000. Because as the homeowner who has a house half built, the builder comes to you, the homeowner, and says, I need $8,000 for your cabinets, or you're not getting what we told you would get.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, this is while it was going on. Now, after we got those 3 or 4 houses done, I said, hey, hold the phones. I have to go up.
Gotcha.
Right? My plywood has doubled. lumber has doubled, screws, everything. I have to go up, man, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, obviously, go up, let's deal with it. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. So eventually we went up to match, you know, what the materials were.
So you're
But what
moving
I'm
up
talking
after. So you're getting through those couple of contracts that were previously written, and then trying to move up on new contracts.
Yeah, yeah. Because
I get you.
because
I guess
had
to me, it's like, well, who eats? Are you eating something, Mr. Builder? Like, I mean, I would have been a question, and I don't know if you'd gotten a real answer or not. But I mean, my question: I'm eating on this. I was making 10%. Now I'm making 3%. 3% of make is better than no percent. I think that's what you're saying, right? Like,
that's right.
Some percent profit is better than no percent, especially in pandemic times.
Yep.
Which is unprecedented, nobody's ever seen. But it's like, are you, Mr. Builder, are you still making 15%? Like,
No, they were not.
Yeah.
They were not. You know, they gave a contract. Now, the homeowners, a lot of them did have, you know, some leniency, right? So the builder was like, well, you know, your lumber package went up $20,000, and the homeowner was like, I can do 15,
Right.
and I'm tapped. You know, the electrician, you know what I'm saying? He was
Right.
like, man, the wire went up. I was going to wire this house up for $8,000. I'll do it for $6,000. Well, there's $2,000 back in the general fund for the house. You know,
Right.
and I talked to the electrician, to the painter, to the plumber, to the sheetrockers. Like, we talk. And I was like, how are you guys handling this? You know, now some of them are labor only.
Right.
You know, that's something totally different. But the people who are providing materials, we were like, dude, we quoted it. You know, and it sucks. And you know, it's not
I bet you
fair.
everybody's quotes changed in the lingo after the pandemic.
That's right.
I bet
And no, it's not fair. It's not ideal. You know, you know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, we came through that stuff together, man.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that we all pulled together, because again, the painter don't paint without a house to paint, and the wiring and the plumbing, you know, and it's easy for the builder to go, there's $350 now, and the homeowner goes, nope, and then he goes, you know, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll holler whenever we do find somebody who wants to build, I'll let you know.
No, I get that. I get what you're saying. I guess in my mind, I guess I'm being selfish and going, well, am I the only one eating stuff? Is everybody eating something?
Yeah,
So that we can
and
all,
it's
so that we
the
can
same
all
thing.
move forward through this thing. If everybody's eating something, then I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I
Yeah,
can't be
and
the only one eating.
it was the same thing when the builder, you know, built this house. The trim guy came to me. He was like, hey, man, did you take off any money for him? I said, yeah, I sure did. He goes, I did too, man. I'm so glad to hear that, because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I asked the painter, I was like, y'all cut him a break? And they're like, yeah, we cut him a break. You know, I mean, it is what it is. If the guy pays us a lot of money every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that $3,000 or $4,000 we took off of that job is a drop in the bucket, literally,
Yeah.
of the amount of business that, you know, that they give us throughout the year. So it's just one of those things, man. And yeah, it's tough as a business owner. You don't know what to do. And I didn't even really know stuff was going up as bad as it was. And Tammy's like, hey, all stop, shut it down. This ain't working. Man, you've done 2 jobs now. We've made about 10% profit on these jobs. And I was like, what are you talking about, you know? And she showed me the plywood. And now, it's my fault, but I don't pay bills. You know,
Right.
I had no way of knowing. And so I talked to him, and I said, listen, we got these 2 or 3 houses quoted. I'll stand by that quote. After that, I got to go up, man. And they understood. And then
Yeah.
eventually, the banks started to lend a little bit more than they would have, and it kind of worked itself out. And, you know, now everything
Well, the whole
is...
economy kind of started to level, and yeah.
Yeah. So, man, but I'm telling you, that kind of thing, and some people hire somebody and go up. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think there's anything morally wrong with it, right? This is a fiscal thing.
Well, the market will tell you whether you made the right decision or not.
And the market dictates what you can charge.
The market will say, "Yep, you did good. I mean, you going up $50 was fine. You're fine. You're
Yep.
fine." Or it'll
Yep.
tell you, "No, $50 was too much. Too much."
It's
You're
just
not
like
getting any more
selling
business."
something on Facebook. It's only worth what somebody's willing to pay.
Exactly.
I can think my cabinets are worth $800 a foot, but nobody's going to pay $800 a foot, so they're not worth $800 a foot. I mean, It's just So I was kind of watching, where I like
my favorite Facebook question in the world: what should I charge for this?
Yeah. Oh man.
As much as you possibly can. That's the answer. The answer is as much as that's always the answer. As much as you possibly can, and people will pay for it. I mean, that you're for profit. Now, you're running a charity. It might not. That's not your answer.
That's right.
But if you're running a for profit, your answer is as much as you possibly can, and keep business and keep going.
Yeah.
It'll level itself out.
Yep. And the builders have a rate. I'll put that in there too. The builders do have a rate because they give me certain perks, right? That a regular old Joe is not going to give.
Yeah.
I work for them. I don't work for the homeowner. The client chooses everything.
Right.
But the builder is in charge, So it's a lot of dynamics. So when somebody comes in and they want, they're building this little house and they want something, I'm charging what I'm supposed to be charging.
Right.
Right. And so I can go through and I can say, well, it's this much a foot. And they're like, okay, no problem. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you're charging based on your agreed upon pricing with the builder.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and everybody does that. I'm not saying everybody in the world. I'm saying all the trades that work for these two builders. And think about this. You go to Hardware Resources, right? And you go on Hardware Resources and you type in an 835-MB cabinet pool. It's going to cost you $10.25. I go to Hardware Resources and I type in 835-MB. It's going to cost me $4.50.
Right.
Why? Because I buy $30,000 a year worth of hardware.
Right.
You see, the builders have the same thing. When I was asking him about wiring, he goes, nope, go to this place. You get contractor pricing, and this is like a electrical supply house, right?
Right.
You'll get my pricing. So I'm saving a little bit of money. It all trickles down. If the companies do that, the companies say Worth, HGH, Hardware Resources, all these people, right? Say, well, if you're going to buy from us, here's your price. But if you're Johnny that wants to come in here and buy a few feet of maple, this is Johnny's price. And it is not the same price. It's the same concept with the builders, Hey, he's this builder. We want him to be competitive. We want him to build it.
Will not sell to you if you're not a contractor.
Exactly. And Worth is one of those places.
Yeah.
They will not sell to you, So it's just, I know everybody, and I know we may get some hate on that, or I may get some hate on that. I don't know. But, that's the way we do business down here.
Yeah.
Is, if you're working for a builder and he's giving you all this money every year, he pays a different rate. Then somebody's going to call you one time, So all that's, it's complicated weave.
So let's go back to the scaling question a little bit. Have you thought about? I'm terrified to ask this question, but I want to know the answer too. Have you thought about, I know Tammy does a lot of admin for you. I know she does a lot of your bill paying off. Have you thought about showing her or allowing her to do the drawing process?
She actually wants to draw some. So yeah, absolutely.
How much would that change your world? Because I in my mind, I'm thinking, if I could get Kim to draw cabinets for me, next week, I have a consult Monday night, I have an HOA meeting Tuesday night, I have a consult Wednesday night, and I have a consult Thursday night. Because for me, if I take away time from the shop, especially now that the shop's further south and most of my business is north, that I can't just leave in the middle of the day to do a consult. So all my consults end up 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. Which puts you home at 7:30, 8 o'clock, which is I'm good with. But then 7:30, 8 o'clock, eat dinner, take a shower. We're now at 9:30, and I got to draw for these consults at some point in time.
Yep.
I mean.
Yep. So, yes, let's say that Tammy and I don't mean this in a bad way, but drawing cabinets is not easy.
And it's not. My follow up is understanding the layout, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is it
understanding-
enough? But I mean, could you get enough of it that you get it and you go, yeah, this isn't going to work because this is almost like almost like we did Tommy, right? Like we showed Tommy how to start editing, and then after we were like, all right, so you edit, you bring us some titles and descriptions, and we'll tell you what we think. Instead of us giving you titles and descriptions every time, like the crawl, walk, run philosophy. I mean, if you bring it back, I mean, how long do you think it would take before you could be able to just make minor tweaks and they'd be good to go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. You know, I mean, she could do it. She's smarter than I am. She could do it. I'm talking the amount of time it would take for both of us to be in here, and me not choking her and her not choking me.
Right.
You know, during the process, because I'm like, no, just click on it. Like I was with you, like zoom in.
Zoom in. I do, while I'm drawing cabinets now, I'm like, zoom in, because Mitch is yelling at me in the background to zoom in closer.
But yeah, absolutely, man. If she could, and if she could go measure a house, if she could order materials, and if she could draw cabinets, again, we're doing 5 more houses a year.
Yeah.
You know. We're doing smaller jobs. We're doing this. Dude, if I'm just down there and I'm getting fed a cut sheet, cuz, what you talking about, man?
Right.
But it takes the guy being there to measure to understand the house. You know, I feel like if you go and measure and talk to the client, you need to draw them. Otherwise, some stuff gets lost
kind of
in
agree
translation.
with that. Like, so this build that I'm doing right now is also increasing with the anxiety of not being confident in the software, is that this is not my design and not my layout. I did go measure the house, but I measured it with somebody else, like talking to me and doing things like that put me out of my norm, which makes me super nervous. I'm like, I hope I did this right. Like it feels uneasy.
Now here's where I've got the upper hand over you, because I do new construction. Friday night, 8:30, we're out to eat. This happened before. I need to ride over there and double check where that plug is.
Yeah.
I need to double check I can get this cabinet in. I walk in and it's like, nope, I might split that cabinet up, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I used to do a lot, because I'd be sitting there drawing and I'd be like, man, I forgot to get that window measurement. I forgot to get this, and I'd have to drive an hour, you know, and go measure it. But nobody's there at the house.
Yeah.
Nothing's locked. You know, I can run in real quick and measure it. Also, I've learned if let's just say Tammy went to measure, she would have to record everything, you know, front to back, audio, you know, so I can hear what the customer's saying and you know, all this kind of stuff. So it's man, that'd be a hard position to fill, to get somebody to come in and fill it. But she's, you know, she can't move cabinets and she can't paint all day and she can't load the trailer.
Right.
But yeah, and that's what I think about. If I had somebody right here, blank slate, right, what would they do? Day one, what would they be doing?
Right.
Not sweeping, not taking inventory, you know, nothing like that. And then, you know, it's just it's complicated.
Like, I think I would try to find my most time-consuming thing. How can I get rid of that most time-consuming thing? Obviously, which would outside of building the cabinets, like I mean, that's obviously your number one. But I mean, but that I don't mean that anybody could pick up, but that anybody could pick up, like you know. Yep. And I would have a hard time releasing that, to be honest with you.
I would too.
Because it's just understanding, like, how did this get put together? You know, what is this space? I mean, it just which kind of goes back to that software anxiety. Like, these cabinets get put together differently in the software, not in the shop, but in the software they get assembled differently and kind of lay it out differently, and it's just learning a new thing. It just makes it builds anxiety.
And of course, once you come down here and you know, build a few cabinets with me, you're gonna chunk that.
I was thinking about that, but maybe not. I mean, what's the difference between like you rabbet your backs, I dado my backs? What's really the difference?
Having the length of that horizontal on both sides, having it centered, having it the correct width. it's just, I don't know, man. It and all those different nailers and stuff. I'm talking strictly from a design standpoint. I'm not talking quality of cabinets.
No, I'm
right?
not talking. No, I'm talking.
But I'm saying
I'm just talking about build process.
A simpler box equals a simpler design equals more repeatability, right? Because I've got some standards I noticed you didn't have.
Right.
And I don't mean high or low. I mean just SOPs.
Right.
Right. Yours are different than mine. I have. Here's
Like
your
all my rails and styles are 2 inches, for example. Yours are 1.5 inches.
2 1/4, 2s, 3 1/2, 4 5/16, 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Based on where it's at. But like drawer sizes, you got 2 drawer sizes, 4 1/4 and 8. Unless you specifically ask for something different, that's it. If that opening goes from a 9-inch opening to a 11.5-inch opening, you still get an 8-inch box.
Yeah.
And the reason that I do that is so I can have standard drawers in the design, bring one over and pop it in, and you're good to go. But things like that, you'll say, hey, if not necessarily you, but I was like, man, this would be easier design if I did it this way.
Yeah.
And go in, and as long as it's not degrading the quality of the box, the quality of your product, and that's completely up to each individual, person.
And I think for us, a lot of it goes back to the production rate. If I got to build 2 3-inch drawers and 5 11-inch drawers, that is way different than you building an entire kitchen of
80.
random ass drawer sizes.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just completely different in scale, I guess, is the biggest thing,
Yeah. Well, why do you dado your bottoms in?
So realistically, the reason why I dado them in is from, like, when I first started, like, track saw and, like, homemade track saw and things like that, the dado kind of hid, like, the imperfections of the cut,
Okay.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I got a cleaner edge when I was getting tear out on the sides of the pre-finished, and I was on the little shop, the little fold-up portable saw, and I was getting blowout and stuff like that. I was like, well, if I dado these, I'm tucking that all that bad side in, I'm tucking it in, and I'm getting rid of it from the cross cut, and nobody will ever see it, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a stronger box because now, especially with pre-finished, I can glue wood to wood.
Yeah. Now,
but that's why, but that's just what I'm comfortable.
That's what you're used to.
That's just
right.
what I'm used to.
And that's what you ultimately have to do.
Yeah.
Is you have to be able to stand behind your product, and you have to be like, hey, that's the way I want to do it. I'm gonna do it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Which I feel like, I don't feel like it's necessary for a quality cabinet. I don't at all.
But you also notch your sides.
Notch my sides.
So your side of your
for
cabinet.
My back panel?
No, for your toe kick.
Yes. Yeah.
Your side panel gets a notch at the bottom. That's right.
I don't do a separate toe piece.
So if you didn't dado that bottom, right, and you were just relying on 18 gauge brad nails, that cabinet would fail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there's no support for the bottom.
There's no support.
Mm-hmm.
See, I do a separate toe kick.
Mm-hmm.
My toe kick is on the inside of that side panel.
Correct.
And the horizontal rests on top of the toe kick.
Correct.
So you can literally put 1,000 pounds on my bottom, and it's pushing down on the toe kick.
Right.
It physically can't fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're both doing things to support the bottom of the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just two completely different ways to do it.
And if it gets a little too wide, I put a sleeper in it. I just like, let's just throw a little sleeper in here.
Yeah. And another reason when you're banging out boxes, you have to allow for some sort of tweaking wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let's say your horizontal, you cut it a 30 seconds short, but you want both ends to be flush. Well, it's short. You're going to have an end hanging off, or have it too long or something like that.
Right.
You kind of have to watch all that, and there's super secrets about kind of how we design things and build a box. Where if I'm off a 30-second on the box versus the frame, it's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things to where, me personally, I like a stupid simple box. I mean, dude, you get somebody off the street, 5 minutes, I can have them building boxes.
Yeah.
Now the problem on my shop is there's a way for a cabinet that goes between walls to be built. There's a way for finished on both sides to be built, and there's a way for a wall on one side to be built.
And see,
Right.
I am having to get more standard in that with this new software.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because on the old software, when I was doing the build process, I could electronically pull up cabinet 2 on the screen, right? And cabinet 2 on the screen, the way that software worked, would tell me my left scribe is 1/4 of an inch, my right scribe is 1/8 of an inch, based on it being a wall, and then being like, let's just say it's a wall cabinet. So I would do like 1/4 of an inch on a wall cabinet, and then I got another cabinet coming up to it, I would do 1/8 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I would mess that up, or I wouldn't pay as much attention to it. But it wouldn't be a big deal because I had the screen to tell me that I
Right.
forgot to change it or whatnot. Now I don't have that little cheat sheet, so I need it to be a certain way every single time.
Yep. Yeah.
And standardizing is getting a little tough. I mean, it's not getting tough. I just am not used to it.
We either have flush or 1/4 inch overhang. That face frame is either flush with the side of that cabinet or it overhangs 1/4. That's it. If
Yeah.
it goes against a wall or against another cabinet or against anything, a stove, a dishwasher, whatever it is, it's a 1/4 inch overhang. If it is open or finished or painted, it is flush. That's it. There's no in between. There's no nothing, because there's not a scenario where a 1/4 inch overhang wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Like the way we build them. So, and you'll see that. You'll see people that, some companies now, they 1/4 inch overhang everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that. Do what you do. The customer probably doesn't even care.
Right.
That's one of those shop things,
See, I don't like a 1/4 inch overhang on a end.
That's right, on a finished end. Yeah.
I like an 1/8 or a panel.
Yeah.
It's just me.
So, that's right. So it's interesting though to see, because I've watched other people and been like, man, that ain't a bad idea. I think I might do that. But 99% of what we do is what Charlie did.
Yeah.
We may do it differently, but the overall construction of the cabinet and what is overhanging, what is this, what is that, it's same way he's always done it.
Yeah.
Because it works. I mean,
Yeah.
we've hung thousands of boxes and it works.
Yeah, and I've never had anybody call and say, "Hey, your cabinet fell apart." I mean, they're not going to. But yeah, I mean, I think about it like, man, how can I simplify this process? And I thought about it today, like, and again, I owe you a huge thank you for the 2-foot tall workbench. Like, that is.
Do you like it,
dude? That's just changed my life. I mean, it
Good.
really has. Like, I thought about it today when I had them 8-foot tall cabinets. I was like, oh my god, could you imagine getting this off of off the workbench waist high, I mean, and even still, like with it being so short, like, so I had them laid across and it was time to stand them up. Well, the workbench is this high. I just stood up and walked across the workbench and walked it up, and stood it, because I can climb on this bench without needing a ladder,
Yeah.
I was like, man, I feel like I might need it bigger, but than that 4x8. But
yeah, what you do, and I got a simple solution, dude. Simple. An auxiliary table, 4 foot long, about 2 feet wide, same height as that table. That's it.
That's what I thought about. It was just a little extension on it.
Yeah, you park it on the wall. Then when you need it, when you're doing something really big, you set it out and let the cabinet in, sit on it or whatever.
Well, I've got once I get that back wall, and I'm going to do a video and a walkthrough once I get the shop cleaned up. Once I get that back wall cleared, I've got room for activities. So I mean, I could put a 2-foot extension on it and just leave it permanently mounted, and I got plenty of room. Like, it wouldn't hurt me to have it there. But that's been a game changer. It really
Good.
has.
We're gonna get you on that face frame jig, and you're gonna be all right.
Well, once I get my miter saw, I got to get my miter saw sorted out, because let me tell you something. I don't have my gauge right now, and it's killing me.
Oh man.
That running a tape measure on every stick that I'm cutting is about to piss me off. I don't like it. I hate it. I want to get rid of it. But
Yeah.
I got to decide whether I'm going to sink it in the bench or whether I'm going to get a saw.
Radio alarm saw.
A rated alarm saw and put it in the bench.
Well, I got to message a guy back because I found one over in GA.
It's too far.
And I'm thinking about getting it. And then
Right.
if I get it, I'll tell you this: if I get that big dog, this radio alarm saw I got here only cost you a little gas.
Well, let me know.
That's
We'll
it.
figure it out.
That's it. Yeah,
Well, you about ready to wrap this one up?
yeah. And I think, dude, I'm gonna say we covered some stuff on it. We covered some. I mean,
we went
for it
from
to be
nothing.
ad-lib,
We went from nothing to something. I feel like. I mean,
because that whole pricing thing and kind of when do you go up, when do you not, hiring people, scaling. I mean, that's
It's
my.
a thing.
I can talk about that all day long.
it's a
man.
thing. It is, and I don't know. And every situation is going to be different. Every shop's going to be different, and
Yeah.
I think and each business is going to be a little different in the way that you got to do it. But I think it's something that you got to always be considering.
Yeah. And
to
there
be
was a
able to grow.
video. I don't know if you saw it. It was in one of the cabinet pages. The dude did a walkthrough of his shop, and that sucker was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
His shop was going, and there's like 30 people,
Oh, really?
and it's a huge shop, and they're custom making everything. He's got a little door plan in there, and he's got a little, cross cut. He's got this, he's got that. He's got people doing this, people sanding doors. And I was mesmerized because he didn't start there, man. He didn't start there.
No.
He started in his garage, rented a shop, rented a better shop,
Yeah.
bought him a little building, hired a couple people, and I'm glad I feel good for people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no jealousy, there's none of that.
I'm a little jealous.
Well, at the same time, you're paying people to write them paychecks.
Oh, that's true.
You're paying people to handle disputes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's call outs and sick time and vacation time. I mean, it's a headache, but
Oh, yeah.
man, to be able to walk through a place like that and be like, hey guys, here's my shop. He wasn't bragging. He just didn't say a word. He just walked through the whole shop, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, golly, just imagine. Of course, he's got 20 builders probably that he's working for.
Right.
Who is this, Charlie? I don't remember you. Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing 3 houses for you? I don't know. I'd have to get Gary. Come in here. Talk to this guy. I don't know who this is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, because you got an early morning. So you need to get up. You need to go to bed.
I do. Well, thoughts and prayers to you guys with your family.
Thank you, sir.
And especially with Tammy as you guys go into the final stages of laying Mr. Dean to rest. We're with you guys, and know that it's a tough time. Even when you have time to prepare for it, it's a hard season to go through. But
Yeah.
And
shout out to my family real quick. Mama loves to help, but she don't really know what to do. My Aunt Ann loves to help. She don't know what to do. Susie, dude, if Susie thinks you're struggling, she's here. I'm telling you, man, she just, and Rachel, my sister-in-law, same way. So Mama's like, hey, can I bring like some food or something over there? And I was like, yeah, let's bring some. I don't know what all's happening. This is day of, right?
Right.
I don't know what all's happening. So yeah, bring it. We'll deal with it. All 4 of them show up.
no, really.
Here come the Turner side. Here comes Susie and Ann and Mom and Rachel. They're just bringing in. I mean, Mama's like, I didn't know what to get. There's 50 cases of Sprites and Cokes and cups and plates, spaghetti, cakes, food. I mean, everything,
Nice.
And, Miss Jean got a little teary-eyed, and she goes, I never would have expected, half of your family to show up. And I was like, listen, they don't know what to do, but they want to help. you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, shoot, we ain't got to worry about eating. We ain't got to worry about going and getting groceries. I mean, they spent about an hour there. They kind of hugged necks, and they were like, all right, we're gone.
That's what we
You
do
know.
in the South. I mean, we're going to feed you. We're going to feed
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why it's called comfort food.
Yep, there
It
you go.
is. It is used in times of need, for sure. But, yeah.
Yep. Well, all
Awesome,
right, man.
Well, y'all
I'm
take
gonna
care. We'll think about you guys this weekend as you guys go through that. We'll be in touch soon. We'll figure out what we're going to do about recording times as we get through. But just let Tammy know that we're thinking about her. Kids, I know that that they're taking it as well as they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a good time. But any last departing words?
I would tell y'all to hire Chad, but he's hard to get a hold of. Come back with 10 fingers next week.
He's still sitting
Do
there?
something. Nope, he's gone. They left.
okay.
Remember, he
He's
took Tammy out on a date or something. I don't know.
Oh,
what it
okay. Hey, look! I still can't lift my shoulder, my arm. Look, that's
was. Look,
it.
it's over. It's just quit with the piling on now.
I know. Shop's wired. Dust collector's in. I know. All right.
Keep us updated on your shoulder. I need a picture of you holding that arm up as high as you can on social media. Nope. By itself on social media.
Oh, I can hold it up now. I just can't lift it up on its own. It's crazy.
Sucks, don't it?
Yeah. All right. Word of the day.
Scale
Scale. Oh, I like it. I like it. Yep. Scale it up.
and hairy arms. Yeah, you two don't know. I mean, these audio listeners, they don't know what they're missing, do they?
They're
Look at
probably
that.
thankful. Yep.
Look at that.
Oh, dear Lord. All right, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy.
Thanks
Have
for
a good
listening,
week.
everybody. We appreciate you being here. If you listened to last week's or watched last week's episode and it was just the logo the entire time, go back, rewatch it. You can see Butter Smooth and his awesome microphone setup. You
Yes,
don't want
it's
to
worth it.
miss that. Yep, go back and see it. All right, my man. Thanks. We'll see y'all later.
All right, we'll see you, bud.